For generations, the plaster casts of Pompeii have offered a haunting glimpse into tragedy. A mother shielding her child, two sisters locked in a final embrace, a family huddled beneath a staircase. For over 150 years, historians believed these iconic figures told simple, heartbreaking stories. But DNA, unearthed from within these very casts, is now rewriting history, revealing a truth far more complex than we ever imagined. On the morning of August 25, 79 CE, a surge of ash and superheated gas swept down from Mount Vesuvius, engulfing Pompeii, with temperatures soaring as high as 500 degrees Celsius. Within moments, the city's streets, homes, and those who remained were sealed beneath a dense, suffocating blanket of volcanic debris. The first layer of pumice and ash fell overnight, but it was the final pyroclastic flows, fast, lethal, and inescapable, which left the city permanently buried. Under this immense weight, bodies were entombed in a matrix of fine ash, cut off from air and moisture. Over days and weeks, soft tissues vanished, consumed by bacteria and heat, while the surrounding ash hardened into a porous shell. What remained were hollow spaces, exact imprints of the dead, preserved in the shape of outstretched arms, curled fingers, and collapsed forms. These void, airtight, and undisturbed spaces later held the last traces of bone, hidden for centuries. The disaster's violence and the precise chemistry of volcanic ash created a rare archaeological window, not fossilized bodies, but negative molds, each a moment of human life stopped in time, waiting for discovery. In 1863, Giuseppe Fiorelli stood over a patch of hardened ash in Pompeii and saw not just destruction, but profound possibility. He noticed that beneath the surface, the volcanic debris sometimes hid hollow spaces, the exact shapes left by bodies lost to the eruption centuries before. Instead of simply removing what little bone remained, Fiorelli devised a radical method. He carefully poured liquid plaster into those voids, letting it seep into every contour. Hours later, the hardened shell was meticulously chipped free. Where there had been emptiness, there now stood a haunting figure, the first cast known to early excavators as the Lady of the Vesuvius. For the first time, the dead of Pompeii were given form, their final moments made visible in plaster. Fiorelli's pioneering technique transformed accidental cavities into invaluable study objects, turning absence into presence. His method set a precedent for generations of archaeologists, inviting both rigorous scientific scrutiny and deep human empathy. The casts quickly became icons, but they were also artifacts, shaped by the choices and assumptions of those who made them. Today, these figures transcend their role as mere relics of tragedy. They are profound clues, waiting for modern science to unlock their deeper secrets and ask entirely new questions. Rows of plaster figures, silent for centuries, became the focus of a new kind of investigation. Instead of chisels and brushes, researchers brought in a Siemens Somatom definition flash CT scanner. This advanced machine, with its 128 slices and 0.25 mm voxels, allowed researchers to peer inside, revealing what the human eye could never see. From the catalogued 104 casts, 30 were carefully selected for their preservation, and the hints of bone glimpsed through cracks and restoration scars. With a 180 mm field of view, the scanner captured entire torsos in a single pass, mapping bone, plaster, and void with unprecedented forensic precision. Where the 19th century eye saw only shape, the CT revealed fragments, vertebrae, phalanges, rib shards, each sealed in plaster since Fiorelli's first pour. From these, 14 casts with the clearest bone fragments visible on the scans underwent careful sampling. Technicians meticulously drilled cores just 2 mm wide, thinner than a pencil, through pre-existing cracks, ensuring the cast's precious outline remained untouched. Each microscopic powder sample was then sealed, logged, and transferred by gloved hands into a sterile clean room, where every tool was sterilized and every surface rigorously decontaminated. Strict chain of custody protocols tracked every movement, from the moment the drill touched plaster to the instant the DNA entered the sequencer for analysis. Remarkably, 5 of these samples yielded DNA robust enough for a full genome sequencing. It was a slow, exacting process, allowing absolutely no room for error. For a century and a half, these casts were largely perceived as empty shells, but the CT scans and subsequent DNA analysis proved otherwise. Inside, the dead of Pompeii had left more than just their final shapes. They had left fragments of their very identity, waiting for science to finally give them a voice. For 150 years, the adult in the House of the Golden Bracelet cast was widely believed to be a mother, shielding her child in her final moments. The gold cuff on her wrist was interpreted as a poignant symbol of maternal care. DNA says otherwise. Genetic analysis, however, revealed the adult to be male, possessing XY chromosomes, while the child beside him was genetically unrelated. In ancient Rome, gold jewelry was not exclusively reserved for women. High-status men often wore ornate bracelets, rings, and pins, a historical nuance easily lost beneath layers of modern storytelling and assumptions. Similarly, the poignant embrace discovered in the Cryptoporticus, long interpreted as 2 sisters or a mother and daughter locked in their final moment, also unravels under scientific scrutiny. DNA analysis reveals one individual as male and the other female, with absolutely no biological kinship between them. Their true relationship, if any, remains unknown. The profound intimacy of their pose, once read as an expression of familial love, may simply be the tragic result of catastrophe, a chance proximity in a collapsing world. Beneath a staircase, 4 bodies huddled together were, for decades, presented as a nuclear family unit. DNA says otherwise. No pair among them shares close genetic ties, and each man carried distinct ancestry markers. Their only bond, it seems, was the shared disaster that sealed them together. These profound reversals are more than mere scientific corrections. They reveal how easily modern eyes, searching for familiar narratives, can misread and project onto the past. The casts are not just silent witnesses to individual family tragedies. They are compelling evidence of a dynamic city, shaped by migration, trade, and the unpredictable violence of history. Pompeii's story is still being rewritten, each discovery peeling back another layer of assumptions. Principal component analysis of the recovered genomes astonishingly placed Pompeii's victims not among local Italic clusters, but closest to ancient populations from the Levant, Egypt, Greece, and North Africa. For 150 years, historians believed these plaster casts captured a closed, insular Roman town. The DNA says otherwise. In fact, nearly 70% of the ancestry in the sampled individuals traces back to Eastern Mediterranean populations, with only a minority reflecting local Italian roots. This striking genetic mosaic is further corroborated by the city's material record. For instance, a glass vessel unearthed in a neighborhood thermopolium was chemically traced to workshops in Alexandria, Egypt, irrefutable evidence of trade routes that stretched across the vast Roman Empire. Pompeii was clearly not a static provincial outpost, but a vibrant crossroads of migration, commerce, and profound cultural exchange. The story written in bone and glass reveals a city far more diverse and cosmopolitan than the idealized family portraits imagined by earlier generations. And every new discovery continues to widen its horizon, challenging our perceptions. Gabriel Zuchtriegel, director of the Archaeological Park, emphasizes that no restoration or sampling occurs without the joint approval of both scientific and heritage authorities. Of the 105 original casts, 86 have now been meticulously stabilized and preserved under these strict protocols, safeguarding them for future study. New fieldwork continues to reshape what is known, with recent discoveries including a stunning Dionysian banquet frieze unearthed in a 2025 excavation, a private bathhouse complex uncovered in the Eastern Quarter, and a remarkable marble relief appearing at Porta Salaria. Each discovery arrives within a carefully considered framework that balances scientific ambition with profound respect for the dead, ensuring that every advance is meticulously weighed, thoroughly documented, and openly shared. Pompeii remains a living site, its story continually expanding with every layer revealed. For 150 years, Historians believed the casts told simple, tragic stories of a uniform Roman population. The DNA says otherwise. Pompeii's dead were not just families. They were strangers, migrants, and enslaved individuals, a tapestry of humanity, far more complex and diverse than our modern eyes ever imagined. The journey of discovery continues, constantly challenging our understanding of this ancient, vibrant city.